We need to embrace change. In this video, here's 10 ways to not go with the flow. Embrace change and become the host that no one else can be. You'll make more money than your neighbors, I guarantee it. Let's begin. Now guys, number one, let's focus on your brand. If you don't have one yet, I want you to ask yourself just a couple of questions. Who is my company? Not what is, but who is my company? Your company has a personality. The way that you communicate with your guests through Messenger is essentially your company. You are your company there. But as your company grows, you want it to stay you, or you want it to stay your company, which means you may not actually like the way you talk to your guests. You might be a little grumpy sometimes. You should fix that. But who is your company? Is your company spunky? Is it fun? Is it sophisticated? Does it have a lot of personality, or is it dignified? You want to decide as a luxury brand or as a boutique brand, what kind of energy you want your company to have. Developing this brand personality type allows you to more cohesively deliver a product and a feel that makes sense together. Because if you've got a portfolio of fun properties, but you're otherwise a stuffy host, that's just not going to fit together. And you need to be aware that brand consistency or brand congruence here is going to matter as you grow. But even if you have just one property, these types of things lead to 5-star reviews. So start now. So when you have 10 or 20 properties later, you don't have to go back and fix this. Do a little soul searching today. And with this, I am cautioning you against using AI, ChatGPT, or other generative AIs to run your messages for you. You can use an AI or a software to cut down on errors to make sure that you're telling people factual stuff, but somebody should be making sure that that message that gets sent sounds like a human. This is so important at scale that I've actually launched a new business with one of my students. Our company Helm leverages AI and human touch to handle everything remote, from guest experience, customer service, to revenue management. We initially launched a beta with my student base, but we're going public now, and you can have access to Helm, where you can have all the advantages of AI and technology, but you can have it filtered through some of the best humans in hospitality to make sure that your revenue is always right, your guest messages are always correct 24/7, and they never get a wrong answer or the wrong response. If you want to learn more about Helm, there's a link down in the description below. I'll see you there. But number two, actually 2, 3, and 4 are all going to be in the same bucket, and that bucket is design. Design, I really think, is the most important part for a property now in 2025, and let me give you a little backstory. I started in 2014, and my first Airbnbs, they looked nothing special. There was a couch, coffee table, TV, there's a bed, kitchen stuff. And guests even said in 2015 or 16, someone called my listing stark. Not Game of Thrones stark, but like empty stark, like barren. And I learned my lesson there and started to focus on making my places look a little bit more fun. But that's come a long way. 10 years ago, you did not need design because Airbnb's offering in itself of just not staying in a hotel was cool enough. But there's too many listings now. And there's too many listings that are more of the same. A lot of white, a lot of blue, a lot of gray, a lot of basic. And because there's so much supply, the quickest way to get to the top is to not be basic like everybody else. To deviate from the massive supply on Airbnb and go do your own thing is going to be the way that you make money. So one of the 3 ways that you can do this on Airbnb is first pick a color. Pick any color that is not the same as your competitors. I, for example, made a place that is completely orange. One of my favorite listings in Dubai is completely pink. And these listings use a lead color to catch the eye while everyone is scrolling through Airbnb on map view. There's going to be the map view on one side and a column of 3 listings wide on the other as people scroll through. And as listings are all the same, white, gray, and blue, if one is orange or black or yellow, it'll stand out. That thumbnail will pop. The hero photo will pop and you'll get a click. And Airbnb's funnel feeds their algorithm. The more clicks you get, the more views you get, the longer people hang out on your listing, the more you go up in search. We want those clicks. So picking a color alone will get you more clicks. But also color is a companion for the rest of your design. Your color and number 3, your style will allow you to create your space or the feel. It kind of feeds back into brand. If you're a fun brand, you want fun listings. You want a fun-looking couch. If you're a sophisticated brand, you want a modern, contemporary, architectural digest style listing. You want stuff that's really clean and powerful, perhaps. Right? There's no one way to skin a cat here. But I want to focus on a part of this that we really haven't discussed as much on this channel as we should, which is the concept that style is one of the fast-paced innovational changes. Sorry to say that in a weird way, but it's one of the fast-paced parts of this industry. People in real estate move slow. It's traditional. It's an easy way to make money. People will pick a style or design style for their listing, and it will stay that way for a decade. They'll have mid-century modern, or they'll have rustic farmhouse, and it'll just stay that way. But things change. What people likes change. And of course, you're going to replace your furniture every 3 to 5 years most likely, so you should be prepared to change as people's preferences change. Style can trend. People can like certain things. A couple years ago, there's a Scandinavian crossover design that had really dark walls that everybody loved. It's still relevant today, but also today people like Japandi, for example. But 5-10 years ago, nobody was doing Japandi on Airbnb. People were all doing rustic farmhouse and mid-century modern. We need to be willing to adapt from boho to Scandinavian to Japandi to whatever is next to chase the money. If you can have a style that everybody loves, you'll be top of the algorithm and you'll be first booked all the time. Because Airbnb loves one-of-one listings. So to stay new, to stay fresh, Airbnb will constantly feed you. While everybody else is stuck with their 7-year-old design style that nobody really likes, but they'll book it if they have to, your style can create an emotional connection that punches through the industry, punches through the noise, and gets you booked. And number 4, still in design, is theme. You can use theme to deviate where a design style just doesn't do enough. And there are some markets where themes obviously make a lot of sense. Airbnb hosts will buy a house in Kissimmee, Florida next to Disney, and they'll make a Moana theme or a Marvel theme property. I did a video on 10 tips for theme that you should watch if you're serious about doing themes, because there's a lot to talk about here. But the power of a theme is the emotional connection that you can make with the customer. And themes don't just have to be a movie next to Disney. Themes could be based on a movie still, but anywhere for any reason, like pop culture. You could make an Airbnb Barbie house from the new movie, or Ken's Mojo Dojo Casa house, for example. One of my friends had a high-rise that he made this very masculine, engineering-forward, aeronautics-forward themed space that was for pilots or anybody who worked in the airline industry. And it was full of all this cool artwork and history about the airline industry, the first jet engine and Rolls-Royce and all this other stuff. He had this really cool model plane in the living room and this leather ottoman at the foot of the bed. And some parts of the apartment had this really clean, powerful look, and other parts had this edgy, looked like you're going on a bombing run, like bomber leather jacket style design, but it was all encompassing, and it was really, really cool. And he made a lot of money for a good period of time. These design elements all come together to sell a belief when somebody sees your listing. Effort. They want to see that the host cares, that the host has passion, and that there's effort in the listing. Interior design shows somebody that you care about your space and you put in effort. Themes do the same, but with this extra level of nuance that speaks to a specific group type that will resonate with the theme. At the core, what we're trying to do is reach past all of the other listings on Airbnb and be the one that gets seen. But be the one that gets seen in an emotional way, where people have an emotional connection with your listing, and that's why they book your listing. And when they do it emotionally, they will pay more money. They'll pay a lot more money. And number 5, we can continue to deviate and cut through the noise by focusing on listing types. Now, there's apartments, there's condos, there's houses, but there's also tree houses, there's mansions, there's yurts and cottages and farms and bubble domes and all of this other stuff on Airbnb. Now, your area may not be able to take advantage of this, but surprisingly, your area may be able to. I have a few students in Dallas that have townhomes that have rooftops. One of my students picked up a failing townhouse from an operator that was quitting. We've all seen that, right? People quitting Airbnb. They're everywhere. This person came to me and said, I want to pick up this townhome, but I don't know if I can make it profitable. Let me know how profitable it is now. We did the market research. They were not making nearly enough money to justify the space, but the space had very clear disadvantages. They didn't have any good theme. There's no color in the living room. The bedrooms were a little underfurnished, so they looked a little stark. And then the rooftop, they did absolutely nothing with it, but it had a downtown view. So I told them, what you need to do is add a bubble dome, like a stargazing dome upstairs that can sleep 2 people on the roof. It'll add to your sleep count, and it'll be a really cool experience up top. Nobody else in Dallas has a bubble dome on the roof, so do it. They did that, added a coat of paint to the living room to make it look more fun, a little bit more decor and artwork, and maybe spent $500 on the bedrooms. And that was it. They now make $4,000 more per month on the same listing with the same furniture, almost the same exact place, for maybe an extra $4,000 to $6,000 invested on the way in. And the reason why this happens is, like I said, there's a heat, there's a band of listings, and they all have a similar quality and similar price point. They all had a similar amount of money it costs to start them too. Let's say there's 3,000 listings that all cost $20,000 to get started on Airbnb. Well, let's say you spent an extra $5,000 and you suddenly get out of that heat. It's almost as if you entered a new level of quality, a new stratosphere where there are less listings up there because there's less listings that gave that effort or less listings that were willing to get that creative. You could spend just a few $1,000s more, just like the book The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, and suddenly have completely different results because you were going to get no new results until you broke through that layer. Now, you don't know for sure where that layer is until you do some market research and develop a good thesis as to why you think other listings are failing and come up with a plan to get ahead. And bubble domes on the roof, or greenhouses on the roof, or a yurt on the roof, or a hot tub on the roof, or all these different things in Dallas, they pay money for those experiences. And that was nerdy, but what we just did is we took one listing type, townhome, and we added another listing type on the roof, bubble dome, yurt, greenhouse. You can add those. And now your listing type might actually show up on an Airbnb category for bubble dome or greenhouse, but in downtown Dallas. How's that for a hack? Now, without getting that complex, you could focus on underserviced listing types. You could just focus on having more houses in a place that doesn't have enough houses. You could focus on doing stargazing domes in the middle of nowhere. You do market research to see where people are traveling to, from, in between maybe, and get a plot of land somewhere off of Route 66 and make some bubble domes. You could do that. I'm not going to guarantee it's going to work, but my intuition says if I was going to do a glamping experience, I would focus on something like that. My market research would validate it, and I would go buy some land and put up some bubble domes. We can find out what people like on Airbnb just by going to Airbnb's platform and seeing what they're pushing day to day. Obviously, Airbnb's algorithm runs on data that we don't get to see. But if Airbnb's pushing listings, they're pushing them for a reason, aren't they? So look at Airbnb's landing page. Just search around and see what they're posting. Airbnb is telling us what people want, loud and clear. Let's just copy those. And so those listing types that show up on search for no good reason but the fact that we typed Airbnb.com go, those listing types will pay you. And start doing research to find out why and where those listing types will pay. And number 6, my friends, it is one worth repeating because we've said it for the last 3 or 4 years. You do need to deviate by going multi-channel. But again, it gets deeper, doesn't it? It's not just Vrbo, it's not just Booking.com. But I'll tell you, those are the 2 main ones you should consider. Anybody who's on Airbnb should either be on Vrbo or Booking.com, depending on their market. Like in areas like Denver or Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or Boston, Philadelphia, or Portland, some of these are Vrbo markets, but some of them are Booking.com markets. And you need to find that out. And you can find that out by joining both and then finding out which one gives you more business. The way we do revenue management is informed by where we expect to get our bookings. But if you're only getting bookings from Airbnb, you'd have to ultimately lower your price more to get enough bookings to fill your calendar. If Booking.com or Vrbo gave you just as much bookings as Airbnb in the market, then you could keep higher prices with twice as much exposure and get a full calendar. Right? So to go multi-channel allows you to make more money per night because you're getting more listing impressions on the internet. It just makes common sense. But more than this is the stuff we've already talked about. And if you've seen that content before, thank you so much for sticking around this long on my channel. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, please subscribe because we talk about the good stuff all the time. You don't want to miss a video if you're a host. It's a highly competitive industry, and I'm here to teach you how to be the best. And so on that note, also, if you find this video and its information valuable, the best thing that you can give me is a like. It helps the video perform and move on. It's the way that I make my way here on YouTube, is giving you stuff you like and you liking it if you do. So thank you. But back into channels. There are niche channels that might serve you so very well that no one else is putting you on. You should absolutely book direct. And I'm going to put a link down below in the description of the video or the comments where you can learn to book direct and start making moves there, because direct bookings allow you to get bookings without paying OTAs. Airbnb, Vrbo, they're online travel agencies, OTA, and they charge you money. And if you can get booked at the same price, but not pay somebody a fee, you just keep more money. And yes, you might have some questions about whether you would feel safe because of insurances and stuff, but down below, let's begin that journey for direct bookings, and we can answer your questions on direct bookings down there as you make a decision on if you want to. But in the meantime, you can look at things like Furnished Finder or Bring Fido or Copa or all of these other little nuanced boutique listing sites. Also booking direct through Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that in slow season to get monthly bookings, which is my slow season strategy, is to get monthly bookings before anybody realizes they're in slow season. My inventory is gone and booked. There's stuff like that that you can do. Finding upcoming channels that are spending a ton of money on advertising to get customers, but don't have enough hosts to fill the space, you can sometimes get some really good traffic and traction because these companies are trying to grow to compete with Airbnb. They've got investors spending money on ad spend, spending money on growth, and they need you to sell anything. And so once they have you on their roster, they're gonna try to get you bookings because they want you to stay. And they need the revenue. They make the revenue from guests paying for your place. So yes, upcoming peer-to-peer platforms could make you some really good money. And it also allows you to bypass whether or not Airbnb is having a bad brand day. Because bad stuff in the news, suddenly people don't book on Airbnb, they go to Vrbo, or they go to Bring Fido, or wherever they go. So find other places, because Airbnb may not always be on everybody's nice list this holiday season. Now, number 7 is why I made this video. And it makes total sense, guys. It's price, it's revenue. Deviation. This is so nerdy, and I apologize in advance, guys, for this. Deviation is this really cool game theory concept. Exploitative play. If you guys don't know yet, I love nerdy stuff like this, and I've been playing poker a lot lately. And so poker and pricing strategy, they kind of blend here. Let's use rock, paper, scissors, though, instead of poker as an example. There's only 3 things you can throw: rock, paper, or scissors. Now, what happens if you're competing against somebody and they throw scissors every time? What are you gonna do to win? You throw rock, right? Because you always beat scissors. So this concept of exploiting something that you know is going to happen is the same thing we can do in price. See, in slow season, there will be thousands of more listings than there are guests to book. But we also know that guests can look 3, 6, 9, 12 months in advance for places to stay. So my students, we always have our listings on sale in slow season, always. Calendar is open years in advance, and our slow season prices are priced to move, and we're trying to get bookings. We are incentivizing 6-week, 8-week, 10-week long stays with big discounts, because if we can get somebody to take that reservation for 8 weeks and just cover January, February, we no longer have to put any effort into fixing that later. And so this is another concept I want you to think about. How much money do you make? But how hard do you have to work to make it? And if you've ever been in the middle of slow season with an empty calendar, you're working hard and you are stressed. And being stressed is not good for running a good business. It's not good for being creative. If before your competition knew that they were supposed to deviate, before they knew that they should drop their rates because there's not enough business, if you were already down there fighting for bookings and getting booked, by the time everyone woke up to the alarm bells of winter is coming, you'd have a booking, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. Deviation does go the other way. Let's say in peak season, everything's going to get booked. Why price under your competition? Why do it? Why not get a little greedy? Price 20% more than your competition always in peak season, and then watch your competition get gobbled up like a Pac-Man game. And if everything is getting booked really fast, you can be confident that your high price will probably get gobbled up too. It's like the rising tide, and you're up here, and as long as the water keeps moving up, it'll grab you eventually. So this is a fun game that you have to monitor. Your price could be legitimately too high, and if you find that people are not booking fast enough to book your place, you'll then have to calibrate your booking prices back down to something more reasonable. But why not shoot for the moon if it's possible that everybody would get booked? Imagine a Taylor Swift concert. Everything gets booked, absolutely everything. And let's say you're double your normal rate or triple. Your home is normally $500 a night, you're doing $2,000. You're so greedy, aren't you? But you did it. And the only things left, because everything else got booked, is your $2,000 house, the 8-bedroom mansion down the street that's $6,000 a night, and the Roach Motel, the Nights Inn or the Red Roof Inn. And they are $800 a night for a little dingy hotel room. Somebody will absolutely book your 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom house for $2,000 a night because they refuse to book the Red Roof Inn for $800. They'll do that. They don't have the money for McMansion, but they had the money for you. And this is a win for deviation. I encourage you to use this logical approach to seasonality. And if you want me to teach you revenue management, of course I'll teach you. That's one of my favorite topics. My students have made billions. That's with a B, over $1 billion in short-term rentals from my coaching. So down below, there's a link to Cracking Superhost. Just talk to my team, no obligation, no pitch. If you don't want to get pitched, you just want to ask some questions, we'll just talk to you. You might find that you want to join Cracking Superhost, and I would love to have you, but no pressure, okay? I will be here teaching you for free no matter what. Let's move on to number 8. Okay, I made a mistake. I got a little carried away. Number 8 was supposed to be slow season. I'm going to give you a bonus number 10, since we just did 2 in 1 there. Number 8 is market. Deviate which markets you are in. And market research can tell you where there's not enough hosts, but way too many guests. And this is really fun. I mentioned something called blitzing on Instagram. If you guys saw that video, comment down below. I want to know if you're also on my Instagram. If you're not, there's a link down below. Let me throw this over here. Blitzing is the concept of finding markets that hotels don't exist in. This might actually be the first time I've talked about this at length for free, by the way. So strap in, guys. In Houston, East Downtown 2010, you would make a killing because East Downtown was scary. No one wanted to be there in the late 90s. But then people started to buy houses and renovate them, and people started to clean up the neighborhoods and make it really nice. And East Downtown is just over the highway from George R. Brown Center and Minute Maid Park and the Toyota Center. That's right there. On the other side, if you went west instead of east 2 blocks, the hotels are $200 to $800 a night, but no one would dare go east of the highway until now. And so for about 5 solid years or more, you could have Airbnb houses that were cheap to buy or cheap to rent that were just as close to the George R. Brown or Toyota as the Marriott or the Hyatt were. And that is crushing it. I talk about a concept called radial proximity from points of interest. So a point, draw a circle. Any distance from that point is valuable, no matter if it's in the nice neighborhood or the not nice neighborhood. People who are transient are a little more flexible with the neighborhoods because people aren't considering school systems or crime rates as much as you think that they are, as opposed to if they were moving there. If a family moved to East Downtown, they'd have a lot of questions. But someone traveling to the George R. Brown Center for 3 days, they don't have the same questions. So people would book there because the price was good and the listing was good. They'd find out maybe that they didn't like the neighborhood so much, and worst thing you get is maybe a 3 or 4 star review sometimes. But gosh, for the profit, I'll take a 3-star review any day of the week if I can just make another $10 million on Airbnb. I'll take it, thanks. What do you think? Another example would be Fishtown, Northern Liberties. I think this one is even more dramatic, but I made a killing in Philadelphia starting in 2018 because Fishtown and Northern Liberties became super hipster and super fun. Great restaurants, on the water, really cool culture, not far from Center City or Chinatown or Rittenhouse or anywhere else that people wanted to be. But there were no hotels, absolutely none, because Kensington is the neighborhood that there's a TV show about, that the neighborhood is so dangerous that even the police don't go there. Some areas are still so bad that the police just don't want to be there. And so on this upswing of turning one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the country into an Airbnb gold mine, hotels did not exist for years. And this is the concept of blitzing, finding neighborhoods on the upswing, where there is a vacuum of hotels because they would have never built a hotel there. And you can get there 3 years before a hotel ever gets its first customer, and you can make so much money. That's just one form of deviating to a market where customers are and hosts aren't. You can follow migration patterns, cities that are growing super fast because of business, immigration or emigration, you could say. Places that are deflating, go bad for a while, and then you can wait for them to start to come back in, like maybe San Francisco at one point in time would become a really good play because everybody moved away, and if they clean up the city and everybody starts to come back, the real estate might be cheap enough at that point, and the margins could be good. Same thing with places like Portland, for example. These could be cool areas if you timed it right. And we just had a volatile election year, didn't we? Where people could change states again. COVID caused people to move. Politics will cause people to move. People may move for this reason, and pardon me for bringing it up. I don't want to be controversial on this channel, but Roe versus Wade, right? Bringing the power back into the states, where every state will have their own policies and laws for stuff that people really care about. People may leave Georgia or Texas, for example, or may move to Georgia or Texas or whatever because they align with or do not align with the state level laws. And so because of this, you can see cities growing really quickly or deflating really quickly. And that movement is transient to some degree. People may stay at your Airbnb while they case out a city that they might want to live in. For example, maybe people want to move to Colorado or Wyoming or South Carolina. They just want to move to a different state. And they want to see what the city is like before they move there. They'll stay in an Airbnb. So taking advantage of election years, where people may move now because of politics, you could get ahead of it and make money being where the customers are going, but hosts aren't there yet. Another point for market deviation is some markets have hosts and have guests, sure, but there's not good hosts. They're just not good enough. They don't do good design. They don't provide a good product or service. They're just there doing their thing. It's like fashion has an evolution, and New York gets it first, or LA gets it first, and then everybody else gets it later. It's kind of like that. Miami, Dallas, Chicago, Dubai, they all get the cutting edge of Airbnb innovation and hospitality. And the Midwest gets it later, for example. So you could go somewhere where it just hasn't caught up yet, and you could be the best host in an area. One of my students is a lawyer, and he wanted to leave his career working over 100 hours a week. And I told him at that time, this is late advice, 4 years too late, by the way. I told him, right now, go to Birmingham, Alabama, because I did my market research and it was hot. He went there and he crushed it instantly. Landlords never heard of this. They said yes to arbitrage. He had 18 or 20 doors within 4 months. He was making $200,000 a year net profit, quit his job at his law firm, home free ever since. Because he picked the right market, that people weren't there yet. And yes, I've got a short list of cities that I know are good for Airbnb, and when my students ask, I tell them where to go if they need that help. I try to encourage my students to look at multiple factors like where they would like to live as well as what markets are good when making that decision. But I do have a list of if all else fails and you just need to know where you can make some money, if you're in cracking Superhost, I will put you in the right spot. Absolutely. So again, down below, if you want to learn about cracking Superhost and you want access to my mind 24/7, it's down there. The ninth way to deviate may be the most controversial advice I've ever given on this YouTube channel. People literally hate what I've said here. Some of you love it, some of you don't like it, and I'll be the bad guy for you to be profitable. I'll commit to that. It's okay. I want you to be profitable more than I want you to like me. That wasn't true 6 or 7 years ago. I did start this YouTube channel because I had a chip on my shoulder, maybe, but now it's about you. It's not about me. It's about you. Outsourcing is number 9. Too many people outsource everything. You outsource your design, you outsource your housekeeping, you outsource your photography, you get a co-host, you outsource the entire business. It's just not smart. And if you could outsource less, you'd have control over your business in 3 critical ways. Number 1 is cost. When you have housekeepers clean for you, they might charge you $60 or $70 for a 1-bedroom apartment. That's what people charge. If you paid someone by the hour in-house, or you negotiated your own flat rate because you didn't pay another company, but you haggled around, even flat rate, you could get down to $45. But if you paid by the hour because you have multiple properties, or a few of you hosts got together to have multiple properties, and you did like a host share where some housekeeper worked for you guys full time, $15 to $18 per hour, that's what we pay our housekeepers. And we get those people from jobs where they made 10 or 11 before. So they're still getting raises to work with us. It's not like we're undercutting the world. These people may not have been housekeepers before we trained them. That's another thing. But we have housekeepers now that do it our way, do it for $18 an hour. And that cost to turnover is $18 to $25, where you're struggling to get it under 60. That kind of cost reduction allows you to be so much more aggressive on price when you have to be. Because let's say slow season comes and you didn't get that monthly booking, right? You just didn't get it. Now you need a booking every day and you've got to fight for them. You're going to get 1-night and 2-night bookings back to back to back, dropping your rates. Now, if every booking had a gross $100 collect per night, including cleaning fee for 1-night and 2-night stays, your cleaning fee and cost was $60, you'd keep $40. That's not a lot. But if you did your own housekeeping this way with in-house staff and your cost was $20, you'd keep $80. This is how I've crushed my competition in slow season before I modified my strategy to get more monthly bookings, or in the rare case that it fails, we do a ton of last minute grind out occupancy in our calendars. And we do this at scale. With hundreds of properties, you'll have to do both anyway. So learning to grind out reservations last minute is a key part of staying full in slow season, and keeping your housekeeping costs down is a key to keeping that money in slow season. But 2, more than just cost, is quality. Yes, an expensive housekeeping company should do a darn good job. You paid them a lot of money. And yes, there is a risk that if you pay people less money, they're more prone to do a more average job at their job. And this is really where you need to step up to the plate as a leader or as a manager if you want to pull this off. But the cool thing about this is if you do have a relationship with your housekeepers, because your business is small enough for you to have that relationship with them, and let's say you pay them $20 an hour, still just fine. That cleaning cost might be $30 to clean a place instead of $60, that's still half off. You can ask them to do things that a buy the clean team would never do. You want them to scrub the vents, you want them to do inventory, you want them to reorganize some stuff, you want them to do a wellness check on the home, to check on the alarms and the internet and all this other stuff. A regular cleaning company won't want to do it because they could get the cleaning done in a certain amount of time and you're asking them to spend another 30 or 40 minutes on their home. They'll say no, that's not part of their contract. But this stuff might need to get done, and it might need to get done often or at random times. So having somebody paid by the hour, they'll stay the extra half an hour. You're paying them by the hour. There's no need to negotiate this. And you can actually build your own housekeeping system where they follow certain steps that include way more than just cleaning, and you can still get that job done for $30 as opposed to 60. This is one of the main advantages we have from having our own cleaners in-house. They do more than just cleaning. And this is something that you can take advantage of with cleaners by going in-house. And the third way that in-housing staff can give you an advantage is culture, because contractors don't care about you. They've got their own company. They've got their own thing going on. They've got stuff that they think makes them great. But your business, if we go back to number 1, your brand, why you're here, what you're doing, what you're about, that all comes back to your team. And your team will carry your flag for you, but you have to train them to. You've got to get them to drink the Kool-Aid to buy in. So by in-housing your staff, by getting greedy where they don't work for anybody else, they only do what you do, your way, your style, for your reasons, you are now building a powerful team that all shares your message and all believes in your message. So if you want number 1 to work from this video, you really should be taking notes here on number 9. Your team will carry your brand farther than you ever can. Key examples here: Lifetime Fitness, the owner used to say, "I love you" to his staff all the time. Or Kirby vacuum cleaners, they would knock door to door. If somebody got a win or got a sale, they'd say that's positive. And what's wild about the that's positive culture from Kirby is it is so permanent in the minds of these people that when I built my first 7-figure business selling newspaper subscriptions, I at one point hired 2 separate people from 2 different cities that came together to sell for me in Houston, and they started talking about their previous jobs, and they both ended up mentioning that they worked for Kirby, and they started talking about sales, and next thing you know, they started saying that's positive. It came back out. There's so much association with the brand. 2 salespeople for Kirby were so indoctrinated into that sales program that they started to speak their own language in my sales team. It's absolutely nuts. That's how powerful this is, running a company culture that's in alignment with your brand. You'll go super far with it. And number 10, your bonus way to deviate in this video. I honestly had to reach into my bag and search my soul a little bit for this one. It's esoteric at bare minimum. And let me know if you resonate with this type of content, because I don't teach it nearly enough, I don't think. But I don't know if you guys find it valuable. You need to deviate internally from the why that started in this industry. Why did you do this to begin with? Did you do it for the money? Did you need a creative outlet? Were you just trying to keep yourself busy? You wanted to get away from your 9 to 5? A lot of reasons that we do this business are completely selfish. We did it for us. We wanted the money. We wanted to express ourselves. We wanted to get out of the rat race. You're in hospitality. I want you to know that. And hospitality is not about you. It's about your customer. We could find a reason for the customer that we did any of these previous 9 for them. And it would make so much sense if your why was to build something for people that was truly valuable, that they would truly enjoy, that they would remember for a long time. Hospitality creates a bubble of experience. People go in and they forget about the world that they left behind, at least for a little while, if you did it right. Look at Disney. Look at the hotel zone in Tulum. Look at Dubai. Look at these places. People completely forget about their life, their woes, their troubles when they are in these spaces. And that is a powerful thing as a company. If you can avert your why from the making the money to getting out of your 9 to 5, to getting out of your own head and your needs, and stop being so entitled about your real estate portfolio and your profits, and you started to lose a little bit of money for the sake of the customer, you started to give a little bit more than you ever did before, you would deviate beyond every other person in this industry, because the main thing that has happened since COVID is a lot of lazy, entitled real estate people bought property to put it into short-term rentals because the money was easy. COVID created a revenge travel boom where we got a lot of customers. We got blessed with a lot of customers, but then came a lot of trash. A lot of trashy real estate, lazy ass people, pardon my French, who have ruined this industry because they don't care. They just don't care. And we are fighting against those people. And hotels are winning to get their customers back because of those people. You do not want to be in the same boat as the barons of real estate who've got into short-term rentals because the money was good. These people just want to steal from your customers. And the best way to protect your business is by protecting your customer from those guys. Build something better than them. Build something that people want. Build something that is net positive to the overall short-term rental brand. I'm not going to say the Airbnb brand because we have our own too. Make something that makes the short-term rental world a better place because you care about your customers. And everybody in that little pocket of the short-term rental world will win. And those stupid real estate investors who just wanted extra cash flow on their properties because of revenge travel, they will go out of business, as they should. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're one of the latter real estate guys, sorry, not sorry. But if you care about your customers, I love you. And keep watching these videos. I will help make you a crusher in this space. For more about themes, like I said earlier, if you want to theme a space, watch this video next. And as always, my friends, I will see you on the other side.